today we got wrestling spots that never get old.
Classic wrestling spots that never got old. We all know that Brock Lesnar was a freak of nature. We've seen him F5
Yep.
giants, perform shooting star presses, and simply just throw his body around without a care in the world. Brock Lesnar is not human, and one of my favorite spots
At all.
he does is where he lifts the referee with one arm. The first time he tossed Charles Robinson was actually very early in his career, but it wasn't until 2012 when he picked him up with one arm and threw him in the ring in order to pin John Cena. The Beast would do the same spot 9 years later during his Crown Jewel match with Roman Reigns, and I absolutely love this spot. It's hilarious, and I actually wish they did more of it. It was great stuff that showed Brock's feat of strength. Seth Rollins is one of the best wrestlers on the roster right now, and it's because he's got some of the best moves in the business. The Falcon Arrow is always fun to watch. The Buckle Bomb gets everyone anxious because it actually broke people in the past. And then the Curb Stomp is one of the greatest finishers ever. He also has his signature top rope move, the Phoenix Splash. But the funny thing about that is that he never lands it. It's become a classic wrestling spot where he'll get to the top turnbuckle and then launch himself before his opponents move out the way. But at least the good thing is that he does land on his feet. I think it's hilarious that it never connects. It did happen a couple of times before, but at this point, I like it more as a move that he just misses. A bonus Seth Rollins spot that I love is the Spear to a pedigree. I know they do it all the time, and Roman should learn by now, but I don't care.
Oh!
It's awesome. There's three things that are certain in life: death, taxes, and Cody Rhodes getting betrayed. It's becoming a wrestling spot that does not get old. We've seen everyone turn their back on the American Nightmare. First, it was Brock Lesnar, who pretended to be his friend before giving him an F5 and feuding with him for the summer of 2023. Then there was The Rock, who wanted to steal Cody's story, and Rhodes would eat a slap to the face, and that is how the final boss was born. AJ Styles faked a whole retirement to betray the champion. The Rock turned his back on Rhodes a second time, just when everyone thought they were friends again. The final boss convinced John Cena to destroy Cody Rhodes. Even recently, one of his longtime best friends stabbed him in the back. Cody betrayals have become a staple of WWE over the last few years, and we secretly love them because Cody plays the perfect babyface who needs an ass kicking of reality. Samoa Joe invented a wrestling spot so simple but great that it probably makes everyone jealous for not coming up with it first. He simply just moves out of the way when his opponents try to jump on him. It's such a funny bit, and we all love it. There's just something so fun about watching wrestlers fly at him with all their momentum while he casually just walks away saying, nope, it's genius stuff, and he could do this forever, and I would not mind at all. Something I never appreciated as a kid was the Undertaker's old school move. I thought the move looked cool, but you start to appreciate it even more the older you get. That's probably because you aren't a kid who can bounce on the sofa like it's nothing. So when I watch old matches nowadays where the Undertaker is on that top rope with all of his weight, I'm extremely impressed. You can even see the rope struggle to hold all 300 pounds of that 7-foot giant. I could watch the old school forever. That's not the only iconic wrestling spot from The Undertaker. There's also his classic sit-up. When the dead man took a move and it seemed like the match was over, that is when he would sit up like he rose from the dead, and it was a highlight of each match. His opponents knew they were completely screwed when this would happen. Most of them would just try to get out of his way, but in the end, he would hit them with a tombstone to win the match. The best setup had to be the time it happened with Brock Lesnar, where they both just started laughing like maniacs. That took it to another level where it was disturbing, creepy, and funny at the same time. Anyways, this setup is so iconic that everyone who watched wrestling at some point in their life at least does it once, probably more. Kurt Angle was a wrestling machine. He had a great match with practically anyone in that ring, and I'm convinced he would have given us a 5-star match with a broom. That is how good he was. One of the things that made him really stand out in that ring was his intensity. Kurt made you believe everything you saw was real. That included his extreme mannerisms, the rough slams, and the tight submissions. The best was his classic wrestling spot where he removed the straps of his attire. This is where he turned things up a notch. We would see a glimpse of the true psychopathic nature of Kurt Angle, and we all Once those straps came down, the crowd would literally explode. That wasn't the only thing that exploded, so did his opponent's ankles. Other guys have tried to recreate this, but they don't even come close at all. Nobody could match Angle's intensity. The first ring collapse happened with Brock Lesnar and The Big Show way back in 2003, and it was one of the coolest things WWE has ever done, and it happened out of nowhere. You would think that a spot like that gets old, but it just doesn't. It happened again with The Big Show and Mark Henry in 2011, and it was still great. Then you had Big Show and Braun Strowman doing it in 2017, and it might have been better because you had the referee falling out of the ring. And the last time it happened was with Braun and Bronson Reed in 2025, and it delivered yet again. The smart thing WWE does is they don't run to the ground. We get it once every 5 to 10 years, and that's just long enough to forget how good it is right up until the ring caves in again. One of the most important WWE spots is when Seth Rollins betrayed the Shield. That chair shot to the back is immortalized in wrestling history, and we've seen WWE go back to that many times. Roman used it in his match with Seth in 2021, where he disqualified himself. It was clear that he never let go of that moment. Then you had Sami Zayn, who did the spot to save Kevin Owens from the bloodline to a thunderous pop. Rollins even sacrificed himself at WrestleMania 40 to help Cody finish his story. Seth would do it again the following year to align with Paul Heyman, and we all saw it a final time at SummerSlam between the Shield brothers. Some people might think it was overdone, but I don't think it ever got old for me. Those moments were perfect storytelling, and the WWE also said that was the end of the Shield story, so as long as they don't do it again, I think I'm happy with it. Eddie Guerrero was truly legendary. I remember going to school and telling all the teachers that I was going to lie, cheat, and steal, and none of them watched wrestling, so they were genuinely concerned with what I was saying, but they just did not understand how special Eddie was. His cheating antics took WWE by storm, and he quickly became a fan favorite. Guerrero would cheat often, and the funny thing about it is that it never got old. In fact, those were some of my favorite memories of WWE, and I will forever cherish those cheating spots. One of the oldest wrestling tropes is the referee getting knocked out at some point of the match. This is usually done for some form of cheating, whether that's using a weapon or some sort of interference. It's probably the most cheesy thing about wrestling. We all see it coming from a mile away because we've seen it 1,000 times, but that doesn't matter because you can't have wrestling without this iconic wrestling spot. It is timeless, and we will see it for many more decades to come. Kofi Kingston's Royal Rumble bit is the best. The first time it happened was in 2012 when he did the handstand to avoid elimination. Once we saw that, we were hooked and we wanted to see more. It became his thing. Kofi then saved himself the next year by jumping on Tensai's back before hopping back into the ring with a chair. Then there was a time that he took this wild leap to get back in the ring, and there's been times where Pancakes even saved him. It was always so much fun to see Kofi do this every year. It's a shame that he's no longer with the company because I wish that he stayed solely for this reason alone. It would have been worth
Kofi not with WWE no more?
just so we could see this creative spot every year. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. And here's some other videos I think you might enjoy.
Put in the comments what y'all think about that.